My Weird School. Fast Facts. Dogs, Cats, and Dung Beetles. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. Chapter 11. Disgusting Animals. Okay, let's be honest here. There's a reason why pigs are called pigs. They're pigs. Most animals are gross, if you ask me. Did you know that bats, parrots, earthworms, and orangutans eat dirt? Yuck! And get this, lobsters have little nozzles under their eyes, and to communicate with one another, they pee out of their faces. Really? I'm not making this stuff up. Look it up if you don't believe me. Not only that, but wombat poop is cube-shaped, and some pearlfish live inside the butts of sea cucumbers. That's it. I'm out of here, Arlo. Good. Andrea's gone. Now I can talk about some really gross animals. Farting. First of all, let's talk about farting, shall we? Like humans, many animals fart. It's part of life. When they digest their food, gases are produced. Those gases have to be released. And like humans, some animals release more gas than others. When manatees want to swim up to the surface of the water, they hold in their farts. Then when they want to dive down below, they let out some gas. So they actually swim by farting. Let's see you put that in your book report. And if you think farting manatees are impressive, herring may talk to one another by farting. Scientists call them fast repetitive tick sounds, or FRTs. Bubbles come out of the herring's rear end frequently. Based on when and where they do it, scientists think the farts are a way the herring communicate with one another, but nobody knows what they're saying. My guess is they're saying, "Who cut the cheese?" Farting cows are not a big problem, but burping cows are. An average cow burps 600 pints of methane a day. In fact, cows are responsible for about 4% of all greenhouse gases. So one of the ways to stop climate change would be to get cows to stop burping. The world champion farter is the little termite. Eating wood must cause a lot of gas. Termites are responsible for 11% of all methane emissions. That's more than the amount produced by all the cars in the world. As long as we're on the topic of farting, let's talk about smelly animals. Let's face it, animals stink. Hey, if we didn't use soap, we'd stink too, right? And some animals really stink. Here are some of the world's smelliest animals. The Hoatzin is called the stink bird because of its putrid smell. It lives in the Amazon rainforest, and that's why I'm never taking a trip to the Amazon rainforest. Hyenas roam around in packs, and they use a smell sort of the way your mom or dad uses GPS to find their way around. They have pouches near their butt that produce an awful smelling paste called hyena butter. They rub it on stuff and even each other. Ugh, disgusting. When animals are threatened, they don't just sit there and take it. Some of them fight back by stinking up the place. The zorilla, or striped polecat, shoots nasty stuff out of its butt glands that can be smelled half a mile away. Millipedes curl up into a spiral and release hydrogen cyanide gas. It not only smells horrible, but it can kill a mouse. Skunks spray nasty stuff called sulfuric thiols out of nipples attached to their anal glands. It contains the chemicals in raw onions that make you cry. The spray doesn't just stink, It also chokes your lungs and causes temporary blindness. The green wood hoopoe, a tropical bird in Africa, points its tail at threatening animals and shoots out dimethyl sulfide, the chemical that gives rotten eggs their lovely smell. Do you know what vultures do to animals that attack them? They throw up on them. And because vultures eat smelly, rotting meat, their puke smells super nasty. By the way, do you know what you should do if a vulture swallows your pen? Fulmars are gray and white seabirds that will eat anything, even garbage. When a baby fulmar feels threatened, it projectile vomits chunks of its stomach contents all over its attacker. That'll show 'em. When male ring-tailed lemurs want to compete for females, they hold a stink fight. Two lemurs will face each another. Then, they pull their tails through the scent gland on their wrist and a gland on their shoulder that produces a gooey, long-lasting substance. After that, they flick their tail at the other male. Eventually, one of the lemurs can't stand it anymore and backs away. Some of these stink fights will last an hour. On the other hand, there's one animal that smells great. It's the binturong, which is also known as a bear cat. It lives in Southeast Asia. The binturong, they say, smells like buttered popcorn. Yum! Why doesn't McDonald's sell a McBinturong sandwich? I would eat that. Pooping. Finally, it's about time we talked about pooping, don't you think? I wanted to save the best for the end. Get it? The end? Pooping? Anyway, you know the beautiful, white, sandy beach you love to sink your toes into during the summer? Well, if you're near a coral reef, it may have been made out of parrotfish poop. It's true. The parrotfish grinds up chunks of coral with its big teeth to get at the algae inside. The rest of the coral passes through its digestive tract and ends up on the beach as sand. Enjoy your vacation. A silver-spotted skipper caterpillar can shoot its poop 5 feet from its nest. That's sort of like one of us pooping across a tennis court. Sloths only poop about once a week, but when they do, they poop big, about 1/5 of their body weight. A cow poops over 100 pounds a day. It poops or pees once every 20 minutes or so. I'm guessing cows don't have to raise their hands to go to the bathroom. Kopi Luwak is the world's most expensive coffee. Why? It comes from coffee beans that have been eaten and pooped out by an Indonesian cat-like animal called the palm civet. The poops are collected and cleaned, and then the beans are roasted and sold for a price that adds up to more than $600 a pound. What? Coffee made from poop? To me, regular coffee tastes gross. They'd have to pay me $600 to drink coffee poop. Okay, what I'm about to tell you next may be the single most disgusting thing in the history of the world. You may want to sit down for this fast fact. Are you ready? Okay, here goes. Some animals eat their own poop. Gross, right? I know, but it's true. There's even a name for it. Autocoprophagy. Flies do it. Rabbits do it. Even educated gophers do it. Why do they do it? Probably because they don't want to waste any food. By eating their own poop, they make sure that none of the nutrients in their undigested food get wasted. Hey, I don't like to waste food either, but you've got to draw the line somewhere. Guinea pigs, chinchillas, lemmings, voles, and kangaroo rats all eat their own poop. In fact, guinea pigs will die if they don't do it. Dogs sometimes eat other dogs' poop. They'll even eat cat poop right out of a litter box. Ugh, I'm just glad Andrea isn't around to hear this stuff. There was a time when toilets were commonly built up off the ground and pigs lived below them, so they could eat the garbage and undigested human waste that dropped down below. And that's why they are called pigs. By the way, do you know what you call a pig wearing earmuffs? Well, this has been an interesting discussion about poop, hasn't it? And by the way, if a grown-up or some uptight kid like Andrea tells you it's not nice to say poop, just say dung instead. That's the first rule of being a kid. Dung and poop are the same thing, but it's perfectly okay to say dung. Nobody knows why. And that brings us to what I think is the coolest animal in the history of the world, the dung beetle. I mean, here's an animal that was actually named after poop. The dung beetle loves poop. It lives in poop. It lays eggs in poop. It rolls balls of poop long distances to provide food for its young. Can you imagine being the son or daughter of a dung beetle? Your parents would come home from work and you'd ask, "What's for dinner?" And they would reply, "The same thing we have every night, dung." Okay, now I think I'm even grossing myself out, and that's hard to do. The ending. Okay, now you know everything there is to know about animals. You can go back to YouTube, junk food, and making armpit farts for the rest of your life. Wait a minute, Arlo. We didn't talk about endangered species. We didn't talk about dinosaurs or any other extinct animals. We could do a whole book about that stuff. There are lots of other things to talk about too. We haven't even scratched the surface on the subject of animals yet. Why would you want to scratch the surface of an animal? That's mean. Why would you want to hurt a poor, defenseless animal by scratching its surface? You are so cruel. Ignored Arlo. He's just trying to attract attention to himself. But I see we've run out of pages in this book. There's lots of information about animals waiting to be discovered by you. So poke around. Go online and search for the animals you read about in this book. Search for videos of them too. Animals are really interesting. Go to your local zoo or an aquarium. You can also go to the library and take out other books about animals. Oh no, Andrea wrote the B word. Ugh, disgusting. I think I'm gonna die. Books are boring. Well, except for this one, of course. Oh, stop being silly, Arlo. You know you like to learn new things. You just won't admit it. Learning is cool. And the best part about learning is you get to impress grown-ups with how smart you are. I love doing that. Hey, maybe one of the kids reading this book will grow up to be a famous scientist who studies animals. Or a veterinarian. Or a jockey. Or a dog trainer. Or you'll work at a zoo or an aquarium. Or you'll become an artist who paints pictures of animals. Maybe you'll grow up and save an endangered species. Or wipe one out entirely. But whatever you decide to do, it won't be easy. By the way, do you know what's black and white and red all over?